Hello friends and adventurers, and welcome back to Sally Cat Plays Exile 3, Ruined World. I was just heading south back across the mountain pass when I ran into this fun-looking guy. Could it be the mythical slime I've heard so much about? Okay, I've got a monster's fled. A group of brightly colored, bubbling slimes oozes along the ground towards you, leaving wide trails of dead ground as they go. They move unerringly and quickly toward you. This is very odd. The Empire worked for years to slay all monsters on the surface. But here is a strange beast before you, a slime unlike any you've ever seen, bubbling and magical. It leaves a trail of dead plants behind it as it oozes. Also, there's a few different kinds of slime. What fun. They're not very strong, though. Even Connie can take him out with one hit. Also, Connie is level 2! Hooray! Hopefully it won't take me too long to get a scry monster on all these new friends. Amber Slime can web things it hits, and is immune to poison, but also has a whopping 8 health. And of course, being slimes, they drop no loot. Something bizarre happens. A band of Empire soldiers approach you. The paleness of your skin immediately marks you as odd. Yet, when they get close to you, they look you over and then walk away without a word. They looked rather relieved. Okay then. And there are bandits in the area, but they are scared of me. So there. Oh goody, another chance to do some scry monstering. Emerald Slime has a Sleep Touch. And Ochre Slime has an Acid Touch. Ugh, acid's kinda nasty. Of course, using either of those requires them to actually hit me. Yeah. So, we've seen what I can find heading east from Fort Emergence. If I go west, I run smack into a big river, which I think is what I'm actually supposed to follow immediately upon entering the surface. This river also has quite a few trees in it. Well, not in the river, next to the river. You reach the shore of what can only be a river. You see a fish in it. It's shiny and silvery, not the comforting and normal pale gray of cavefish. As you admire the view, several large, brightly colored slimes ooze out of the trees and approach you. Oh, and this one includes a new one, a mauve slime. Is it mauve or mauve? I'm gonna have to look that up soon. Get Steven a quick kill here. See what my target spread is like. Mauve slimes do not have a special ability, but they can cast a few level 1 spells at me. They're annoying, but not actually all that scary. Oh no, I am webbed. Okay, that +1 sword is really doing good things for Connie's hit rate. Also the fact that these slimes are very low level. Let's see, Peridot. Can I do much with you? Not like that, I can't. This is what happens when I don't use the magically apt character advantage. And I didn't give her very many spell points, so Peridot's a bit useless to start off. Until I find some traps. I see a wolf across the way. Ford here. Cross carefully, undertow is strong. So whenever you see one of these little islands in a body of water, sometimes it means you can walk right across. And the wolves don't want to mess with me. Good. Oh yay, more slimes. Back to this side of the river for now. Quite a large grove of trees here. Is there anything in the large grove of trees? I don't remember. Let's find out. The answer is no. Can't get to that tiny island. Farmland. Blasted farmland. That doesn't sound good. You find a large, formerly beautiful stone farmhouse. It was once a gorgeous structure. Now the crops are dead, the land has been spoiled by slimes, and the building looks abandoned. Investigate? You enter and look around. Many acidic slimes have been in and out of here, with the result that everything inside is ruined, and holes have been burned in the walls and ceiling. While searching, you look out the window and find you've been surrounded. Okay, a few more slimes this time. This won't take long. Fireball is still a wonderful spell. You clean the slime off your blade and take one last look around the farmhouse. Anything that might have been useful there has been dissolved or eaten. There's not even fruit in the garden. You leave the mess behind. Welp. Ah, a road. And a town! And another Empire patrol! An Empire patrol, exhausted and harried from constantly fighting slimes, approaches you. Although your pale skin clearly marks you as being from Exile, sworn enemy of the Empire, they give you only the most cursory of inspections before they wander away. Alright. You reach a tight cluster of farmhouses, surrounded by a tall, recently built stone fence. Behind it, several farmers watch you carefully. Approach. Much to your surprise, even though your paleness and thinness marks you as, if not exiles, very strange characters, the people in the farmhouses are happy to welcome you in and give you a meal. They warn you not only about the slimes, but about brigands who somehow travel with the slimes without harm. Nobody knows where the things come from, but they're convinced the only way to deal with it is for humans to stick together as much as possible. Yay, a positive social encounter! And same thing. At long last, we have reached the first major city in this area of the surface. Krizsan, capital of Krizsan province. It's a very large place, so the perimeter check is going to take some time. Oh, would you look at that? One of the town guards will actually talk to me. In fact, the first guard type that I've seen so far. You meet an archer standing outside the city limits. He looks very nervous and constantly watches the ground around him. He moves quickly up to you, watching for slimes as he moves. I'm Zorb. He emits a brittle laugh. I'm watching the walls to see if slimes are burning through them. Bloody suicide mission. I'm supposed to watch for slimes on the walls, but it's only a matter of time before one of them gets the drop on me. Not that they consider me expendable or anything, but they do. It's such a waste, because I got good ideas. I do! Like, I think we should find out what the deal is with those brigands who have slimes with them. Yeah, that does sound kind of weird. There are brigands out there who can actually command the slimes. I heard someone say they saw them coming out of the mountains not far to the west. Maybe if we could find out how they command the slimes, we could do it too. Slimes are always trying to get through the city walls. They sit on the wall and just wait, and their natural acids burrow a tunnel. I'm down here, because someone has to watch for them, and you can only really get a good look from out here. A job for expendables, if you ask me. Well, good luck with that. Yaha! A little secret passage in this corner. May have to remember this later. You have found a concealed tunnel in and out of Krizsan. Not surprising. What city would be complete without a way for unsavory types to slip in and out? But I'm going to take one of the main gates for now. After years in subterranean hovels, the splendors of the huge buildings and streets before you, teeming with life, makes your eyes pop. You enter the city of Krizsan for the first time. After worrying about how you will be greeted by the Empire's citizens when you actually enter one of their cities, you find your fears were ill-founded. Nobody gives you more than a passing look as they go about their business. However, all is clearly not well. The people are nervous, and watch the ground carefully as they walk. As you look closer, you see the city walls have been scorched and melted. A sour smell you cannot identify hangs over the street. It occurs to you that these people may not care about being visited by exiles, because they have much more pressing concerns to deal with. So there's that tunnel, and a little corner in here. Someone has found a nice secluded niche in the city walls, and fashioned a concealed tunnel into it. The area has the stink of illegality about it. And a hidden crate with hidden loot. Gold and darts. I'm not sure if the darts will be worth anything, but no one can see me steal in here. And yeah, the regular guards do not talk to me, so the archer was just a one-off. Gardening supplies. Well, basically what it says on the sign, stuff that you'd expect to find in a garden. Locked door. And a secret door, which I thought might be somewhere in this corner because I was blocked off from accessing this area by trees. And it turns out there's some slimes here, and possibly an alchemy ingredient. Ember flowers. I believe that is one of the rarer ones. Also, I still don't have anyone who specializes in alchemy yet. I don't remember making a whole lot of use of alchemy in Exile 3. Here, Steven, you can pick the pretty flowers. You look like not a generic guard. This woman hefts a large halberd around with her. Both her weapon and her breastplate have tiny spots of dried slime on them. She shifts her halberd to one hand and tips her helmet to you. I am Captain Maxine. She shrugs her shoulders brusquely. Can't talk long. Have work to do. I look after the garrison and city hall. Plenty to do, what with the slime invasion. I bet. Where my soldiers are. They're good men, but there are too many slimes, and they're everywhere. We do our best. Look, every minute I'm talking to you is another minute I'm not hunting those blobs of evil goo. No offense, but you're not worth it. Aw. Just between you and me, City Hall isn't too useful to us. I mean, are we going to club the slimes to death with paperwork? That's all Cindy and Agrod have contributed. She does research, trying to figure out how to fight the slimes. She's nowhere near bright enough, and I've lost good men trying out her schemes. Still, she's come close sometimes. She's still worth the trouble. We beg the Empire for help, and who do they send? That worthless paper pusher. I'd like to use him as a shield, that's what I'd like. I feel like too many of us have known managers like that. Amber slime seems to have appeared nearby. A few slimes, in fact. The Rowdy Ore. Vacancy. This is the inn's common room. A room filled with beds where those with little cash can flop for the night. The unpleasant smell and the insects that run for cover when you enter indicate that perhaps these aren't the highest quality lodgings. Charming. This innkeeper has filthy, dirt-encrusted hands, which have probably touched every mug and plate in the place. He looks you over with disinterested eyes. I'm McElroy. Welcome to the Rowdy Ore. He wiped his nose with the back of his hand. Well, we got the best drinks in the whole town, only 2 gold. And we got room in the common room to sleep for the night, only 3 gold. And we'll make sure none of the slimes get you. Well, those slime creatures have been sneaking in all over the place. There was even an attack near here. Like the one we just heard, perhaps? Oh, one will slip through the walls every once in a while, but none get in here. Sleep easy. He grins in a way you find not at all reassuring. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure I trust the inn that's right up on the edge of the city wall right now. I will, however, sample a fine surface drink. He serves you up mugs of weak beer with fragments of brown material floating in it. Sadly, it's still a good bit better than any of the mushroom beer you ever got in Exile. Okay then. Heron's herring. Fine food. You meet a big, beefy man gleefully attacking a leg of lamb with a large cleaver. After years of chewing on mushrooms in the underworld, the smell of the food in this shop drives you wild. He looks you over knowingly. I'm Heron, proprietor of Heron's Herring. You call your business Heron's Herring, and yet here you are, slicing not fish, but lamb. You all look hungry, like you haven't seen good victuals in a long time. He winks at you. You're in luck. Heron's Herring has the best food for sale around. He says he's got the best food, and yet he sells crude rations. Sure. You have the look of someone who's been living on lichen for a long time. He winks. Don't worry. Everyone's spreading rumors about the exiles who've been sneaking around. Nobody really cares. They're too busy worrying about the slimes. By the way, while you're up here, be sure to go to Jinx's smithy. She's got the best weapons you could... Text box cut off. A fine woman running a fine smithy. And don't think I'm biased or anything just because I'm married to her. He laughs and dumps some lamb into a stew pot. Lamb stew. This is not a smithy, but it does look interesting. Shrine of the Revealing Light. You meet a young, calm woman. She wears long white robes and the ankh of a healer, and, somewhat incongruously, wears a big axe at her belt. I am called Terry. I'm the town healer. Well, I mainly act as the town healer. Busy work. Plus, I maintain the shrine for what it's worth. I do not need to buy healing. Well, Krizsan has one small shrine to the healing arts, and I look after it. Nothing compared to what the other cities have. It's more a worry than anything else, I'm afraid. Krizsan is the only major city in Valorum to not have a large temple. Even Shader has a lovely temple. It's a big city on the island to the northwest, home to the Anima worshippers. Strange lot. Don't quite see things their way, but they have a lovely temple. This is the continent of Valorum, the least populated continent in the Empire. Well, Krizsan has lots of sailors. They're a superstitious lot, but not the shrine-going type. It's all I can do to keep the dust off of everything. Okay, seems to be all I can get out of her. I may have to go on a spree of unlocking doors later on. This looks like it could be a smithy. I see an anvil here. Yup, Jinx's smithy. This is one of the tallest women you've ever seen. She looks down at you with a grinning face, as she effortlessly hefts about a huge hammer and tongs. She wears a leather jerkin, and her bare arms are sweaty and muscular. She gives the hammer a spinning toss and catches it. Welcome to my smithy. Call me Jinx. Oh well, what do you think? You can sell me what you got and purchase weapons in return. Always glad to help a visitor to Krizsan. She smiles, as if she's in on a joke you don't get. Krizsan doesn't get many visitors these days, being as it's about as remote a large city as you can get. Sometimes we get people from odd places, though. Where are you from? Oh, and be sure to ask me if you want a good meal. I know just where to go. She chuckles at this. Well, Heron, who's a very good friend of mine, runs a food shop near here. She rubs a small diamond ring on her finger and giggles. It's strange to see such a huge person giggle. Cute. So, I can sell stuff here. That is very nice. And I can buy weapons which start off pretty bad quality and, well, it goes up to bronze, which is okay. It's probably better than what Peridot has. So about that selling. Sometime I need to remember that Stephen has that scroll of flame. Okay, I don't actually have that much I want to sell right now. Hooray, a profit of 5 gold. Ooh, bookshelves. An elderly, angular man sits behind the counter, dispiritedly polishing a shield. There is plenty of armor behind the counter, which is peculiar considering the number of books in the shop. He looks you over. I'm Benedict. Well, I'm a businessman. You know, this and that. Right now, I deal in armor. Rather not deal in armor now, but cash is cash and business is business. You can purchase some if you want. Prices are a bit high, but what did you expect? So we can buy basic armor here. up to bronze chainmail, which is not so basic, but still a bit eh. Ha. I used to sell potions and such, but then the slime started appearing. Armor suddenly became the best business to be in. The ones who drip acid are the worst. Armor doesn't do a bit of good against acid. Still, armor usually helps a lot against them. Darn it, with the bookshelves I thought he might be a sage and be able to identify some things. I don't know about that. Alright then. But I can pick up the book. Roaches and You by Ezric of Gale. Even though the Empire has had much success freeing us from the larger pests roaming our fair world, the lowly cockroach has been an opponent able to stand up to our mighty leader's best efforts. In this book, I discuss the strategies and results of our leader's roach elimination plan, Project Mojo. In addition, I give tips to keep these nasty little creatures from setting up shop in your own hovel. First, you will need a torch and some oil. Ah yes, the classic kill it with fire. This building seems large and important. Krizsan City Hall. And I think we've just let a mage escape. Also, I think the 3 slimes that got killed earlier were in here. And guards wandered about and killed some specimens. You meet a female mage. She's pacing back and forth, completely involved in her own thoughts. She stares intently at a vial of brightly colored slime in her hand. She looks up at you, but her gaze is absent. Her mind is clearly miles away. I'm Cindy. Hi. Oh. She stares at the vial and thinks for a moment. I am doing research. Looking for ways to defeat slimes. She uncorks the slime and sniffs it. The danger to us is great. The slimes can enter Krizsan at will. They slide through holes in our walls. I look for a weapon we can use against them, but the work is slow. She thinks. Perhaps you should leave, so I can work more. She holds the vial of slime up so that you can see it. It's mauve. This, a sample, very useful. For research. Yeah, Cindy is not very helpful. Research. Council Hall. You meet a small, fidgety man with the look of a natural-born bureaucrat. He sits in an impressive, polished oak chair, far too large for him. His expression is hard to read. Welcome, travelers, to the City Hall of Krizsan. I am Mayor Arbuckle. He has a nervous tick around his eye. I was picked by the Empire to look after this area. It was a nightmare assignment, and the monsters have only made it worse. He surprises you with his bluntness. It's bad enough that this is the least developed town in the least developed area in the not at all developed continent of Valorum. But then the slimes appeared and started to destroy everything. The settlement of Valorum only began 2 centuries ago. It's still only sparsely populated, and is the only area where monsters are still known to roam free. He looks at you cannily. I will be blunt. You're adventurers from Exile. I don't know why you're here. I don't care. We have too much else to worry about. He wipes nervous sweat from his forehead. I have a mission for you, with a considerable reward. I do like missions. We don't know who is creating the slimes or why, and we don't know where they come from. Perhaps a small, skilled band, such as yours, could have luck finding them. Find out where the slimes are coming from, and remove the source, and you will be rewarded lavishly. Good luck to you. I like missions, and I also like rewards. You report what you found. Nada. He shakes his head. You still haven't eliminated the true source of the slimes. Keep searching. Job dispatcher. Here's a fun little bit. There is an officious-looking woman with a turned-up nose behind the counter. Even as she looks up at you, she continues to nervously shuffle papers with her hands. Valoda. The papers continue to shuffle. I'm the delivery dispatcher. Even in these awful days, the mail must still go through. The Empire insists the mail continues to move as much as possible. It might occur to some that perhaps they should send more troops to help us, and fewer orders for us to obey. She sighs. It is, of course, not my place to criticize the Empire. When someone needs something sent somewhere, they come to me, and I find someone to do it for them. If you'd like a mission, let me know. Before you get a mission, however, I have some advice for you. These are paranoid times. You may not want to take a mission to a city until you know you will be let in. Also, we job dispatchers are unforgiving of failure. Fail to complete one of my jobs on time, and don't be surprised if I don't give you another for a few months. Okay. So every major city in Valorum has a job board that you can talk to the jobs dispatcher and basically get little fetch quests to complete for money. So we need someone to convey an important message to Mayor Runkle of Stormport within 17 days. Pay is 300 gold. We need someone to deliver seed corn to Quinn, thought to be an innkeeper in Sharamik, within 4 days. Time is of the essence. Pay is 620 gold. I don't remember exactly where Stormport is. I think I know Sharamik, but I'm not certain if I am allowed in just yet, so I'm going to take neither of these. Jobs dispatcher can be a nice way to earn extra money. Empire liaison. You meet a captain of the Empire Army. He has a squashed, puffy face and a huge nose. He looks at you with extreme distrust. I'm Captain Agrod. He pulls out a small hip flask and takes a swig from it. I'm the Empire liaison for this area. I hope you don't plan to cause trouble. The Empire stuck me out here in the middle of nowhere to look after things and implement their inane policies. Speaking of which, what's your opinion on unicorns? Okay. The Empire is too busy crushing anyone who questions it to worry about what happens in the middle of nowhere. They don't send anyone out here to help out, only to tell people what to do and not offer assistance. For example, this area is being torn apart, and I'm supposed to be hiring people to deal with the unicorns. Well, I'm giving 10 gold for every one of those pests' horns I'm brought. You have any? You show him your bunch and collect your gold. Cool. Thanks. Be sure to bring more. It brings meaning to my life, believe me. Look, we all know there are exiles wandering around. If you were near the center of the Empire, this would be a serious problem. But this is the middle of nowhere, and we don't care here. Just don't cause trouble, okay? Don't have any romantic ideas about friendly, happy creatures. When we got out here, we found a bunch of them, and they're nasty, vicious pests. The Empire told me to hire someone to get rid of them. So tell you what, every unicorn horn you bring me, I give you 10 gold. Just come back and tell me you have the horns. And that is Captain Agrod's purpose. He gives us a quest to deliver unicorn horns for monies. Someone had ambitious plans for this room. New tiles are set in the floor in a beautiful, intricate pattern. That is, however, as far as the construction went. The slimes must have scared them off. Hi. You find a small bedroll and a cooking pot. It looks like someone is in the habit of sleeping here occasionally. Probably this guy. Strange wizard. A wizard in dark robes sits cross-legged in front of you. He looks intently at you from under bushy eyebrows, and clearly could not be less impressed. Names have power, child. He shakes his head in amusement. I am merely observing. In this age of fury and blades, knowledge is a true weapon. I am simply watching carefully what happens, and who is doing what, and what is coming from where. Others can kill the monsters, and they have their purpose. However, those who wish to solve the true problems that face us must watch and search and learn. Our true enemy has yet to be found. We all have much to learn, and about more than just monsters. For example, I believe Valorum contains certain valuable magical artifacts. I have been trying to find them. I believe, for example, that I have discovered the location of the long-lost Ring of Endless Magery. Perhaps I would tell its location to one who showed me he had true dedication. He thinks, well, I think 2,500 gold is the going rate for true dedication these days. Perhaps you would like to purchase the location of the ring? He shakes his head. You clearly have insufficient dedication. Perhaps you could accumulate more? Sure, Bob. So yeah, this is a fun fella. He will travel between Krizsan and one other location and tell us where a very powerful magical artifact is, if we can summon up enough true dedication. That'll be something I'm looking for eventually. It's really an endgame level artifact. And this seems to be another tavern, with a few more people in it. A heavy-set woman sits perched in the middle of the tavern, commanding everyone's attention. She plays a guitar flawlessly. When she finishes her song, she walks up to speak with you. Her skin is incredibly pale. She's an exile. She bows. I'm Gypsy. Nice to see familiar faces. What brings you to the surface? Well, I've already played pretty much everywhere in Exile, so I snuck up here. Tricky, but I did it. You sneaky, sneaky thing. Yes, this is Gypsy, the famous minstrel from the previous 2 games. She really gets around. Volunteered to help build Fort Emergence. Slipped out onto the surface as soon as I got the chance and never looked back. And I'm not the only one. Pretty immoral of me, but, well, there you go. She tunes her guitar as she speaks. Oh, just touring the surface. Like you, I suppose. Ask about Exile. Oh, but I was tired of that place. Too damp. Couldn't keep the guitar in tune. Not so bad up here. There's lots of monsters, slimes and such, but we're all used to that. It's true, we are. She strums out a short tune on her instrument. It's lovely. Always nice to see a minstrel moving up in the world. You meet a woman with a sun-weathered face, loose clothes, and a sure step. Tattoos ring her arms and wrists. She gives you a cocksure grin as you approach. She tugs her earlobe as she looks you over. I'm Dawn. Well, I normally sail the open seas. Now I just wait around here. Krizsan's my home, after all. Not much call for that now. Ships haven't been sailing since the monsters appeared. Interesting thing about that. Just when the slime started appearing, when I was sailing into Krizsan for the last time before the ship stopped going, I saw some weird lights on the coast. The south coast, just west of here. There was a tower, and there were some seriously weird lights flashing around it. She tucks her earlobe thoughtfully. Maybe it's just me, but the slimes must be caused by a bunch of weird magic. Well, there's weird magic there. She grins. But what do I know? I'm just a sailor, and you're genuine exiles. She laughs. Don't worry, your secret is safe with me. I was pretty close to being sent down there a few times myself. Well, it does seem to be an open secret in these parts. I grew up here. There's no way I'm leaving without a fight. She sighs. That's the problem, though. It's easy to kill one slime. Just one stab is all it takes. But they keep coming and coming. And if one gets the drop on you, it'll hit you with a spell or cover you with acid or worse. The woman behind the counter looks like a buxom serving wench made good. Her demeanor and clean, stylish clothes clearly mark her as the one in charge. This seems like a much better inn than the other one. She mops up some beer on the counter and looks at you proudly. I'm Kessel. Welcome to my inn. I run the Crusty Sailor Inn. I feel that, even in the middle of all the slimes and horror, we should still have a little luxury to get us through. We have fine beer for 5 gold, fine wine for 10, and luxurious rooms for only 15 gold. What would you like? Okay, prices are a bit steeper than the other inn, but I think the quality's worth it. After years of drinking swill-like mushroom beer in Exile, this rich, dark brew is enough to bring you to tears. You down every drop. How drunk can we get? The wine is sublime. It takes a while for your tongue to get used to it, but when it does, the stuff is exquisite. Your heads spin gently. I feel like in the Avernum games we would now have the drunk status effect. Which effectively would just be curse. Sheep! Yeah, sheep all around the world are pretty much the same. Hello, you are a townsman that will talk to me. In the major towns, pretty much everyone except the guards will talk to you. A dark-skinned man with a variety of tattoos and earrings is walking around, carrying a belaying pin and a sharp knife. He looks like he's just swallowed a lemon. Humph, I'm Escovedo. He laughs, a harsh, bitter barking noise. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I make ships. Who wants them? No demand these days. The slimes are everywhere, and monsters are around the other cities too. Everyone's looking to their own problems, and nobody's going anywhere. Faugh! Like I know anything about that? Faugh! He turns away. Yeah, faugh! Okay, you sure are not happy. And there's another random dude. You meet a slightly deranged-looking little man. His rough, dirty clothes and thick boots speak of many months on the road, and he's bent over under the weight of a heavy sack. I'm Vlad the Light Salesman. How are ya? I'm a light salesman. Takes me places, let me tell ya. You heard right, Sonny Jim. You can't hold a torch to my torches. Don't crawl into a slimy, filthy death pit without one. Ah. So this guy will sell torches and lamps. The torches have more uses, but the lamp will last quite a bit longer. They are tools that make light. A torch is a length of wood with one end covered with some sort of gooey, flammable substance, usually sap. They cast a decent amount of light for a reasonable amount of time. Torches tend to attract adventurers, much as gross things attract roaches. Okay, then. Lanterns are heavier and more expensive than torches, but give off a strong light which lasts for a while. So, effectively, I think the difference between a light spell and a long light spell. Also, I believe Vlad is a traveling salesman, so don't be surprised if we see him in other towns. Krizsan Shipyard. Is not a very busy place these days. And there's basically nothing going on at the docks. Warehouse district here. There's pretty much nothing worth seeing in the warehouses. Krizsan Warehouse District. Trespassers and looters will be punished with death. So let's not cheese off the authorities right after we get here, This man looks like a sailor, but is wearing the robes of an apprentice mage. Dirty and torn robes, but robes nonetheless. He stares intently into an orb on the table in front of him. As you approach the table, he looks up from the orb. "Welcome, my children," he says in an affected fortune-teller voice. "Come forth, so I may speak unto you." His name is Fellows, by the way. "Greetings, children. I will forecast your future for only 2 coins. Also, I can share with you my great magical skills." He takes your gold and waves his hands over the orb. "I see many adventures and much fame and treasure." You don't look impressed. "Okay," he says. "It's lame, I know. But nobody cares about my real talents." He leans close. "Well, I really do know a few spells, and sailing the seas I learned a lot. Show me one of your items, and I could identify it for a reasonable price." Identification isn't as in demand as charms, of course, but can be actually worth something. Also, his magical skills can give us a luck charm. This is a rough cloth pouch. Inside are a few chips of stone, some features, and some odd-smelling dust. Its usefulness is doubtful. Yeah, it is not actually registering as magic, so I don't think it actually does anything. He waves his hands and there is a flash of light. It's a very simple spell. "I can create charms which will shift your fortunes. Purchase one, and you will never be devoured by the seas. A bargain compared to the value of your life." Right. Well, given that there aren't any sea-bound ships on this entire continent, chances of being devoured by the sea is pretty low. Do I have anything that needs identification? Well, there are those darts I stole, liberated from someone else who stole them. More iron darts, that's better than regular basic darts, I guess. Okay. Well, that is pretty much all we can do in Krizsan right now, so I will see you all in the next episode. Have a good one, everybody.